When I lost my baby at 12 weeks, I called my family from the hospital bed. I was crying and needed them more than ever. They didn't come. They stayed at my sister's gender reveal party instead. For 32 years, I thought I knew why my family always put me last. Then my dad showed up with a letter about a sister named Rose who died before I was born. A sister whose death had been controlling my entire life. But Rose was adopted, and somewhere out there was another sister, a living one, who had been waiting her whole life to meet me. Why would my own parents choose pink balloons over their daughter's broken heart? And what do you do when you discover your whole life has been shaped by secrets about sisters you never knew existed? The hospital room is so cold. Everything here is white and clean and smells like medicine. I sit on the edge of the bed with a paper gown that crinkles every time I move. My hands won't stop. Shaking. Dr. Williams just left. Her words keep playing in my head over and over. I'm sorry, Iris. There's no heartbeat. You've lost the baby. Lost the baby. Like I misplaced something at the grocery store. Like I could just look harder and find what I'm missing. My name is Iris, and today was supposed to be a good day. Today I was supposed to see my baby on the ultrasound screen. Marcus and I were so excited this morning. We held hands in the car. On the way here, we talked about whether the baby would have his dark hair or my green eyes. Now Marcus sits in the chair next to me. His face is red and his eyes look empty. We haven't said much since the doctor left. What is there to say when your whole world falls apart? 12 weeks, I whisper. I made it to 12 weeks. Marcus reaches for my hand. I know, baby. I know. We tried for 2 years to get pregnant. 2 long years of hoping every month that this would be the time. When I finally saw those 2 pink lines on the test, I cried happy tears for an hour. We already picked out names. Emma for a girl, James for a boy. We bought a tiny yellow outfit because we wanted to be surprised about the gender. It's still in the bag at home, tags on, waiting for a baby who will never wear it. The nurse said someone needs to sign some papers, Marcus says quietly. I nod, but I don't move. I can't think about papers right now. I can't think about anything except the fact that my baby is gone. I should call my family, I say. They need to know. Marcus squeezes my hand. Are you sure you're ready for that? I'm not ready for anything. But my family loves me. They'll want to be here. They'll want to help me through this. I pull out my phone. My hands are still shaking so much I almost drop it. I call my mom first. Hi, honey. Her voice is bright and happy. How did the appointment go? Did you get pictures? I try to speak, but no words come out. Iris, are you there? Mom. My voice breaks on the word. I lost the baby. The line goes quiet. I can hear music in the background, laughter, people talking. Oh, Iris. Mom's voice changes completely. Oh, no. Oh, my sweet girl. Can you come to the hospital? I really need you here. There's a pause, a long pause that makes my stomach hurt. Iris, you know I want to be there for you. But today is Sage's gender reveal party. The whole family is here already. We've been planning this for weeks. I can't believe what I'm hearing. My sister Sage is having her party today. She's 6 months pregnant with her first baby. She's been talking about this party for weeks. Pink or blue, boy or girl, everyone has been so excited. Mom, I just lost my baby. Can't the party wait? Honey, you know how important this is to Sage. Your aunts drove here from Ohio. Uncle Pete came from Florida. We can't just cancel now. Everyone is already here. 3. Music gets louder in the background. I hear someone shout, 5 more minutes until the big reveal. So you're choosing her party over being with me? It's not about choosing, sweetheart. We'll come see you tomorrow. First thing in the morning. I promise. Mom, please, I really need... The line goes dead. She hung up on me. I stare at my phone. Marcus heard everything. His face looks angry now. She hung up on you. Maybe the call dropped, I say, but I know it didn't. I try calling my dad. It goes straight to voicemail. His cheerful voice says he can't come to the phone right now, but he'll call back soon. I try my brother Leo next. Voicemail again. With shaking fingers, I call Sage directly. She's my little sister. She's always looked up to me. Surely she'll understand. Iris! Her voice is loud and excited. Perfect timing! We're about to cut the cake and find out what we're having. In the background, I hear people counting down. 10, 9, 8. Sage, I need to tell you something important. 7, 6, 5. Sage, please listen to me. 4, 3, 2, 1. Screaming, cheering. Someone yells, "It's a girl! It's a girl!" Sage is laughing and crying at the same time. Oh my God, Iris! I'm having a daughter. Can you believe it? Sage. I try to make my voice louder. I lost my baby today. The cheering continues. She can't hear me. Hold on, she yells over the noise. Let me go somewhere quieter. I wait. I hear her moving through the crowd. A door closes and the noise gets softer. Okay, what did you say? I couldn't hear anything with all the excitement. I had a miscarriage today. I lost my baby. Silence. Then, oh wow. That's really sad, Iris. She doesn't sound sad. She sounds distracted, like I just told her it might rain tomorrow. Can you come to the hospital? I really need my family right now. I can't leave my own party, Iris. You understand, right? This is my special day. Everyone came here for me. I can't just disappear. My heart breaks into even smaller pieces. Your special day. I'll call you tomorrow, okay? We can talk then. I have to get back. People are waiting for me to cut the cake. She hangs up too. I sit there holding my phone. My whole family knows I lost my baby, and they all chose a party over being with me. They're not coming, I tell Marcus. His jaw is tight. I heard. Sage is having a girl. I don't care what Sage is having. The nurse comes back in. She's older with kind eyes and gray hair. How are we doing, honey? Is your family on the way? I look at Marcus. He looks at me. We both know the answer. It's just us, I say. That's okay. Sometimes the people who matter most are the ones right beside us. She's trying to be nice, but it doesn't help. I want my mom. I want her to hold me and tell me, everything will be okay. I want my dad to hug me like he did when I was little and scared. I want my family to care more about me than they do about pink cakes and gender reveals. But they don't. And that hurts. Almost as much as losing my baby. The nurse helps me get dressed. She gives me papers about what to expect in the next few days. She tells me to call if I have questions or if I need anything. Take care of yourself, she says. And remember, this isn't your fault. Sometimes these things just happen. Marcus drives us home. I stare out the window at all the normal people doing normal things. A woman pushes a stroller down the sidewalk. A man carries groceries to his car. Kids play in a front yard. The world keeps moving like nothing happened, like my baby didn't exist. Like my heart isn't shattered into a million pieces. At home, Marcus makes me tea I don't drink. He runs me a bath I don't take. He sits with me on the couch while I stare at nothing. I'm sorry, he says. I'm sorry about the baby. I'm sorry about your family. Me too. My phone starts buzzing with texts. Pictures from the party, pink balloons everywhere, pink streamers, pink flowers, Sage in a pink dress, glowing and beautiful and surrounded by everyone I love. Everyone except me. The texts keep coming. Such a beautiful party. Can't wait to meet baby girl. Sage looked amazing. Not one person asks how I'm doing. Not one person mentions that I lost a baby today. It's like I don't exist. I turn off my phone and curl up next to Marcus. He holds me while I cry for my baby, for my family, and for the worst day of my life that nobody else seems to care about. Outside, the sun is setting. Tomorrow will be a new day. But right now, in this moment, I have never felt more alone. 3 days pass. No one calls. I spend most of my time in bed. The sheets smell like the lavender soap I used to love, but now everything makes me feel sick. Marcus brings me soup that gets cold on the nightstand. He makes toast I can't eat. He sits on the edge of the bed and rubs my back, but I can barely feel his touch. "You need to eat something," he says gently. I know he's right, but food tastes like nothing. Everything tastes like nothing. Marcus has been amazing. He took time off work to stay home with me. He calls the doctor when I have questions. He holds me when I cry, which is pretty much all the time. But I can see the worry in his eyes. I can tell he doesn't know how to fix this. Nobody can fix this. On the second day, I walk past the room that was going to be the nursery. The door is closed, but I know what's inside. A crib we put together last weekend. A rocking chair my mom gave us from when I was a baby. The yellow outfit hanging in the tiny closet. I can't go in there. Not yet. My phone sits on the kitchen counter, silent. I keep checking it, hoping someone from my family will call, but the screen stays dark. On the fourth day, it finally rings. Mom's name pops up on the screen. I stare at it for 3 rings before I answer. "Hi, sweetheart. How are you feeling?" How am I feeling? Like someone ripped my heart out. Like my family doesn't love me. Like the whole world moved on without me. "I've been better," I say. "I know this is hard, honey, but you're young and healthy. You and Marcus can try again soon." Try again, like I lost a game of cards instead of my baby. "Mom, why didn't anyone come to the hospital?" She sighs. "Iris, we talked about this. Sage's party was planned for months. The whole family was there. Your cousins came from 3 states away. We couldn't just leave. But I needed you. And we're here for you now. Listen, I have to tell you about the party. It was so beautiful, Iris." Sage looked like a princess in her pink dress. And the decorations. Pink roses everywhere. The cake was 3 layers with... I hang up. I can't listen to her talk about pink roses when my baby is gone. I can't hear about how beautiful everything was when my world is falling apart. Marcus finds me crying at the kitchen table. "What happened?" She called to tell me about the party, about how perfect it was. She barely asked how I'm doing. Marcus sits down next to me. "Maybe we should take a break from your family for a while. They're all I have." "No, they're not. You have me. You have Jade. You have people who actually care about you." He's right about Jade. She's been my best friend since college. She lives in California now, but she's called me every single day. Since the miscarriage. She even had flowers delivered to our house. Real friends don't need to live close by to show they care. "I just don't understand," I say. "How could they choose a party over their own daughter?" Marcus doesn't have an answer. I don't think there is one. The next week, I force myself to go back to work. My boss, Mrs. Patterson, is really kind about it. She doesn't ask a lot of questions. She just tells me to take my time and come to her if I need anything. My coworkers are nice too. They don't tell me everything happens for a reason. They don't say I can always try again. They just let me be sad. But at lunch, I see a pregnant woman at the table next to me. She's rubbing her belly and smiling at her phone, probably looking at ultrasound pictures, probably texting her family about how excited she is. I have to run to the bathroom to cry. When I get home that afternoon, there's a package on my front steps. The return address says, "It's from Sage." Inside is a photo from her gender reveal party. Everyone is there. Mom and Dad in the center, holding pink balloons. Leo with his wife and kids. All my aunts and uncles and cousins. They're all smiling and laughing like it's the best day ever. Sage is in the middle, glowing in her pink dress. Her hands are on her belly and she looks so happy. So complete. There's a note with the photo. Thought you'd want to see how amazing it was. Love you, XOXO Sage. I stare at the picture. Everyone I love is in this photo. Everyone except me. They look like a perfect family, like nothing is missing, like I was never supposed to be there in the first place. That night, I call Jade. "How are you holding up?" She asks. Her voice is warm and caring. "I don't know anymore. My family acts like losing the baby was just a small problem, like I should be over it already." That's not normal, Iris. Families are supposed to support each other when bad things happen. Maybe I'm being too dramatic. Maybe I should just move on. Don't you dare say that. You lost a baby. You're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to need your family. Jade always knows what to say. She always makes me feel like my feelings matter. My mom called yesterday and spent 10 minutes telling me about Sage's party decorations. She barely asked how I was doing. That's awful. What did you say? I hung up on her. Good. You don't have to listen to that. After we hang up, I feel a little better. At least someone understands. At least someone thinks I deserve better. 2 weeks after the miscarriage, my phone rings again. It's Sage. "Hey, want to go baby shopping with me this weekend? I need to start getting ready for my little princess." I can't speak for a moment. "You want me to go baby shopping with you?" "Yeah, it'll be so fun. We can make a whole day of it. Look at cribs and clothes and bottles. Maybe get lunch after. Maybe get our nails done." She sounds so excited. So completely clueless. "Sage, I can't go baby shopping right now. I just lost my baby 2 weeks ago." "I know, but this might help you feel better. Being around baby stuff might help you heal faster." Being around baby stuff will destroy me. Looking at tiny clothes will make me think about the outfit hanging in our closet that will never be worn. I can't do it. Come on, Iris, don't be like this. You can't stay sad forever. At some point, you have to move on. Can't stay sad forever. Like there's a timer on how long I'm allowed to grieve. I have to go. Think about it, okay? I really want my big sister there with me. It would mean so much. After she hangs up, I realize something important. She wants me there, but only when it makes her happy. Only when I can smile and act excited about her baby. She doesn't want the real me. The broken me. The me who cries every day and can't look at baby clothes without falling apart. None of them do. They want the old Iris back. The one who always said yes. The one who put everyone else's needs first. The one who never complained or asked for too much. But that Iris died in the hospital room 3 weeks ago. And I don't know if she's ever coming back. A month passes. The sharp pain in my chest is slowly becoming a dull ache. I can get through most days without crying now. Some mornings I even wake up and forget for a few seconds that anything bad happened. Then I remember, and the sadness comes flooding back. Marcus and I are trying to find our normal again. We go out to dinner sometimes. We watch movies on the couch. We don't talk about babies or my family much anymore. It's easier that way. But I can't stop thinking about why they chose the party over me. It keeps me awake at night. I lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to understand how my own mother could hang up on me when I needed her most. It doesn't make sense. Mom has always been there for me before. When I broke my arm in 3rd grade, she left work to take me to the hospital. When Tommy Chen broke my heart in high school, she held me while I cried and fed me ice cream. So, why wasn't she there when I needed her most? I decide to call my brother Leo. Maybe he can help me understand what happened that day. Hey, Iris. How are you doing? At least he asks. That's more than anyone else has done. I'm getting better. Slowly. Leo, can I ask you something? Sure. What's up? Why didn't anyone come to the hospital? I know Sage's party was important, but I really needed my family. He's quiet for a long time. I can hear him breathing on the other end. It's complicated, Iris. What do you mean? Complicated? Look, you know how our family works. Sage has always been the baby. When she wants something, everyone jumps to make it happen. I know this is true, but hearing it said out loud still hurts. But this was different. I lost my baby. I know, and I wanted to come see you. I really did. But Dad said we needed to stay for Sage. He said it would ruin her special day if people started leaving. Dad said that. My dad, who taught me to ride a bike, who walked me down the aisle at my wedding, who told me he was proud of me when I got my first job. Dad said leaving would ruin Sage's day? Yeah, he was really firm about it, said we could visit you the next day instead. But nobody came the next day either. Another long pause. Sage was upset after the party. She felt bad that you weren't there. Mom and Dad spent the whole next day cheering her up. So even after the party was over, it was still about Sage. Even when I was home bleeding and crying, they were busy making sure Sage felt better. Leo, do you think I'm asking for too much? Wanting my family to be there when something terrible happens? No, Iris, I think you deserved better. We all should have been there. After we hang up, I feel even more confused. If Leo thinks I deserved better, why didn't he come anyway? Why didn't anyone stand up for me? That night, I can't sleep again. I keep thinking about my family and the way things have always been. I start remembering things I haven't thought about in years. When Sage got married 3 years ago, the whole family spent 6 months planning her wedding. Mom took her dress shopping every weekend. Dad paid for everything without asking questions. The whole family flew to Hawaii for her destination wedding. When Marcus and I got married, I planned most of it myself. Mom helped a little, but she was busy with work. Dad gave us some money, but not enough to cover everything. Only half the family came because they said Hawaii was too expensive. When Sage bought her first house last year, everyone came to help her move. Dad hired professional movers, but the whole family still showed up to help carry boxes and unpack. Mom brought lunch for everyone. When Marcus and I bought our house 2 years ago, we hired movers and did everything ourselves. No one offered to help. When Sage announced her pregnancy, Mom threw her a huge party. Balloons, decorations, catered food. The whole family came to celebrate. When I announced my pregnancy, I got a card in the mail that said, "Congratulations," in Mom's handwriting. I always told myself it was because Sage needed more help. She's 3 years younger than me. She's more emotional. She has a harder time with things. But maybe that's not true. Maybe they just care about her more. The next day, I'm cleaning out old photo albums when I find something that makes my heart stop. It's pictures from when we were kids. There's Sage's first birthday party. Huge celebration. The backyard is covered in pink balloons. Every relative we have is there, smiling and holding presents. I flip to my first birthday photos. It's just me, Mom, and Dad in our kitchen. Small cake from the grocery store. No decorations. Sage's First day of kindergarten. Both Mom and Dad took her to school. They took pictures by the school sign. They made a big deal about how brave she was. My first day of kindergarten, just Mom dropped me off. One quick picture by our front door. Sage's high school graduation. Big party in our backyard. Everyone came. Dad gave a speech about how proud he was. My high school graduation. Dinner at a restaurant. Just our immediate family. No speech. I see the pattern now. It's been there my whole life. I just never wanted to admit it. Sage is the golden child. The favorite. The one who gets all the attention and love and celebration. I'm the other one. The forgotten one. The one who gets what's left over. But why? What did I do wrong? How long has this been going on? I call my Aunt Rita. She's Mom's older sister, and she's always been honest with me. Sometimes too honest. Rita, can I ask you something kind of personal? Of course, honey. How are you feeling, by the way? I heard about what happened. I'm so sorry for your loss. At least someone acknowledges what happened to me. Thank you. I'm doing better. But I need to ask you about something else. Why do you think Sage gets more attention from Mom and Dad? Rita is quiet for a moment. Oh, honey, you really don't know, do you? My heart starts beating faster. Know what? About what happened when you were born. About the complications. What complications? What are you talking about? I probably shouldn't be the one telling you this. You should talk to your parents. Rita, please. I need to understand what's going on with my family. She sighs deeply. When you were born, there were serious problems. You were in the hospital for weeks. The doctors weren't sure if you were going to make it. I never knew this. No one ever told me I was sick as a baby. But I did make it. Yes, you did. You're a fighter, Iris. You always have been. But your parents were so scared of losing you that they protected themselves by not getting too close. What do you mean? They were afraid to love you too much, in case something bad happened. And then when Sage came along 3 years later, and she was perfectly healthy from day one, they felt safe to love her completely. The words hit me like a punch to the stomach. So they love her more because they were scared to love me? It's not that simple, sweetheart. They do love you. But they've been holding back your whole life without even realizing it. They trained themselves not to get too attached to you, and they never learned how to stop. After I hang up, I sit on my kitchen floor and cry. Not for my lost baby this time. For the little girl who tried so hard to earn love that was never going to come. For the child who thought she wasn't good enough when the truth was, her parents were too scared to let themselves care. Everything makes sense now. Why I always felt like I was watching my family from the outside. Why nothing I did was ever quite enough. Why they could choose a party over being with me during the worst day of my life. They were protecting themselves from losing me by never fully having me in the first place. But here's what they never understood. Being afraid of losing me made them lose me anyway. 2 days after my conversation with Rita, someone knocks on my front door. I'm not expecting anyone. Marcus is at work, and I haven't talked to my family since I hung up on Mom last week. I look through the peephole and see my dad standing on my porch. He's holding a white envelope in his hands and looks nervous. His hair is messy like he's been running his fingers through it. My heart starts pounding. Dad never comes to visit without calling first. He never comes alone. And he definitely never looks this worried. I open the door slowly. Hi, Dad. Hi, sweetheart. Can I come in? We need to talk. I step aside and let him into my living room. He looks around like he's never been here before, even though he's visited dozens of times. He won't meet my eyes. Is everything okay? I ask, even though I know it's not. He sits down on our couch and pats the cushion next to him. Sit with me, Iris. I sit down but keep some space between us. I'm still hurt and angry, and I don't want to be too close right now. I know you're upset with us, he says quietly, about the hospital, about not being there when you needed us. Upset is putting it mildly, Dad. He nods and looks down at the envelope. You have every right to be angry. What we did was wrong. I wasn't expecting him to admit that so easily. Then why did you do it? He's quiet for a long time. He keeps turning the envelope over in his hands like he's not sure what to do with it. It's complicated, Iris. There are things about our family that you don't know. Things I should have told you a long time ago. My conversation with Rita comes flooding back. Is this about when I was born? About the complications in the hospital? His eyes go wide. You know about that? Rita told me. She said you and Mom were too scared to get attached to me because you thought I might die. Dad's shoulders drop like he's carrying something heavy. Rita always was too honest for her own good. Is it true? Some of it, but not all of it. He holds up the envelope. This explains everything. I wrote it for you after what happened at the hospital. I was going to mail it, but I decided you deserved to hear the truth from me in person. What is it? It's a letter, a confession really, about something that happened before you were even born. Something that changed everything for our family. My hands start shaking. What kind of confession? The kind that's going to hurt you. The kind that might make you hate me even more than you already do. I don't hate him. I'm hurt and disappointed and confused, but I don't hate him. Dad, just tell me what it is. He hands me the envelope. My name is written on the front in his careful handwriting. The paper feels thick and important in my hands. Should I read it now? That's up to you. But Iris, I want you to know that everything I did because I love you, even if it doesn't seem that way. I stare at the envelope. Part of me wants to rip it open right now and finally get answers to all my questions. Part of me wants to throw it away and pretend this conversation never happened. What if I don't want to know? Then you don't have to read it, but secrets have a way of coming out eventually, and I'd rather you hear it from me than from someone else. I think about all the questions I've had my whole life. Why I always felt different. Why Sage got more attention. Why my family could abandon me when I needed them most. Maybe this letter has the answers I've been looking for. I'll read it, I say. But not right now. I need time to prepare myself. Dad nods slowly. I understand. Take all the time you need. But Iris, when you do read it, remember that your mother doesn't know I'm here. She doesn't know about this letter. Why not? Because she thinks some secrets should stay buried forever. She thinks telling you the truth will only hurt you more. And what do you think? I think you're strong enough to handle the truth. I think you deserve to know why your life has been the way it has been. He stands up to leave, but I stop him. Dad, wait. Can you at least give me a hint about what's in the letter? He turns back to me. His eyes are sad and tired, like he hasn't slept in days. It's about love, Iris, and loss, and choices that seemed right at the time but turned out to be terrible mistakes. That doesn't really help me understand. The letter will explain everything, but I will say this. Whatever you read in there, know that you're loved. You have always been loved. We just did a terrible job of showing it. After he leaves, I sit on my couch holding the envelope. It feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. This piece of paper holds the answers to everything I've ever wondered about my family. But I'm scared. What if it's something horrible? What if it makes everything worse instead of better? Marcus comes home from work and finds me still sitting in the same spot. What's that? he asks, looking at the envelope. A letter from my dad. He says it explains everything about why my family treats me the way they do. Marcus sits down beside me and takes my hand. Are you going to read it? I don't know. What if it's something really bad? What if it changes everything? What if it makes everything better? What if finally understanding helps you heal? He's right. I've spent my whole life wondering why I'm not good enough for my family. Why I'm always the afterthought. Why I feel like I'm looking at my life from the outside. Maybe this letter will finally give me the answers I need. But I'm terrified. Some truths are too big to handle. Some secrets are kept secret for good reasons. Will you stay with me while I read it? I ask. Of course. I'm not going anywhere. I look at the envelope one more time. Whatever is inside changed my whole life before I was even old enough to understand it. It made my parents afraid to love me fully. It made me feel like I was never quite enough. But maybe knowing the truth will finally set me free. Or maybe it will destroy what's left of my family forever. There's only one way to find out. I take a deep breath and start to open the envelope. I take a deep breath and carefully open the envelope. Inside is a folded piece of paper covered in Dad's handwriting. The ink looks fresh, like he wrote this recently. My hands shake as I unfold it. Marcus moves closer to me on the couch. Do you want me to read it first? No, I need to do this myself. I start reading, and with each word, my whole world changes. My dearest Iris, I don't know how to begin this letter. I've started it 100 times over the years, but I never had the courage to finish it. After what happened at the hospital, after seeing how much we hurt, I know I can't stay silent anymore. You deserve to know the truth about why your mother and I have treated you differently than Sage. It's not because we love you less. It's because we love you so much that it terrifies us. Before you were born, your mother and I had another baby. Her name was Rose. She was our first child, born 2 years before you came along. I stop reading. My heart pounds so hard I can hear it in my ears. Marcus, I whisper. I had a sister. I had an older sister named Rose. He squeezes my hand. Keep reading. Rose was perfect. Beautiful and healthy and so full of life. She had your eyes, Iris, the same bright green eyes that I see when I look at you. Rose lived for 6 months. Then one morning, we went to wake her up, and she was gone. Sudden infant death syndrome, the doctors said. There was nothing we could have done. Your mother and I fell apart. We blamed ourselves. We blamed each other. We almost got divorced. The grief was so big that it swallowed everything else in our lives. We weren't trying to have another baby. We were too broken, too scared. But then you came along, unexpected and unplanned. When we found out your mother was pregnant, we were terrified. What if we lost you too? What if we loved you as much as we loved Rose, and then you were taken from us the same way? So we made a terrible decision. We decided to protect ourselves by not getting too attached. We would love you, but carefully. We would keep some distance, just in case. I stop reading again. Tears are streaming down my face. There was another baby, I tell Marcus through my sobs. Rose. She died before I was born. They were so scared I would die too that they never let themselves love me properly. Marcus holds me while I cry. Keep reading, he says gently. There's more. When you were born, you had complications. You were in the hospital for 3 weeks. Every day, I sat next to your tiny bed and watched you breathe. Every day, I was sure you were going to die like Rose did. But you didn't die. You fought. You got stronger. You came home. But the fear never left us. Every time you got sick, we panicked. Every time you cried, We wondered if something was wrong. We were so afraid of losing you that we never let ourselves fully enjoy having you. Then Sage came along. By the time she was born, enough time had passed that we felt safer. We thought maybe we could love another child without the same fear. We were wrong to think that, but we did. We gave Sage the kind of love we were too scared to give you. The unconditional, overwhelming, all-consuming love that you deserved from the beginning. You were our miracle baby, Iris. You were the child who lived when we thought we would never have another child. But instead of celebrating that miracle, we spent your whole life waiting for the other shoe to drop. I can barely see the words through my tears now. They had another baby who died, I whispered to Marcus. They were so scared I would die too, that they held back their love my whole life. Marcus wipes tears from my cheeks. Keep going. You need to read all of it. The worst part is that our fear became a self-fulfilling prophecy. We were so afraid of losing you that we pushed you away. And now, as an adult, you keep your distance from us because you learned that love in our family comes with conditions. When you called from the hospital after your miscarriage, my first instinct was to drop everything and come to you. But Sage was having her party, and your mother reminded me how important it was to her. And I'm ashamed to say that I took the easy path. I chose the child who has never questioned our love over the child who needed it most. I know you probably think we chose Sage over you that day. But the truth is, we chose our own comfort over your pain. We chose avoiding difficult conversations over being the parents you needed. After Rose died, your mother and I promised each other that we would never talk about her. We thought it would be easier to pretend she never existed than to face the grief of losing her. But secrets have a way of poisoning everything they touch. Our grief over Rose has shaped every decision we've made as parents. It's the reason you've always felt like you were not quite enough, like you were missing something. You weren't missing anything, Iris. We were. We were missing the courage to love you the way you deserved to be loved. I'm telling you this now because I can't stand to see you hurt anymore. I can't stand to watch you try to earn love that should have been freely given from the day you were born. You are not Rose. Iris, you are not going to disappear. You are strong and alive and here, and you deserve to be loved without fear, without conditions, without reservation. I know this doesn't excuse what we did. I know it doesn't make up for a lifetime of making you feel like you were second best. But I hope it helps you understand that our failures as parents had nothing to do with you and everything to do with our own brokenness. You don't have to forgive us. You don't have to have a relationship with us if you don't want to. But please, don't carry our mistakes with you anymore. Please don't let our fear of love make you afraid to be loved. You are worthy of love, Iris. You always have been. Your father, David. I sit there staring at the letter for a long time. Everything I thought I knew about my family, about my childhood, about myself, has just been completely turned upside down. I had a sister, I say to Marcus. I had a sister who died, and nobody ever told me. I'm so sorry, Iris. All this time, I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought I wasn't good enough, wasn't lovable enough. But it was never about me. It was about a baby who died before I was even born. I think about all the times I tried to be perfect, thinking that if I was just good enough, my parents would love me like they loved Sage. All the times I felt invisible, like I didn't matter. Now I understand. I was living in the shadow of a ghost, a sister I never knew existed. What are you going to do? Marcus asks. I don't know. Part of me wants to call my parents right now and scream at them. How could they keep this from me my whole life? How could they let me think I was the problem? But another part of me feels something I didn't expect. Relief. It wasn't my fault. The distance, the favoritism, the feeling that I was never quite enough. None of it was my fault. I need to process this, I say. I need time to figure out how I feel about everything. Marcus nods. That's fair. This is a lot to take in. I fold the letter carefully and put it back in the envelope. 32 years of questions finally have answers. But I'm not sure if knowing the truth makes me feel better or worse. One thing I do know, everything is different now. My relationship with my family, my understanding of myself, my view of love and loss, it's all changed. The question is, what do I do with this? New knowledge? I don't sleep that night. I keep thinking about Rose, the sister I never knew I had. I try to imagine what she looked like, what her laugh sounded like, what kind of person she would have become. I also keep thinking about my parents, carrying this grief for over 30 years. Never talking about Rose, never processing their loss, just burying it deep and hoping it would go away. But grief doesn't go away, it just finds other ways to show itself. The next morning, I call in sick to work. I need to see my parents. I need to talk to them about Rose, about the letter, about everything that's been hidden from me my whole life. Marcus offers to come with me, but I need to do this alone. I drive to my childhood home on Maple Street. It's a small blue house with a big backyard where I used to play as a child. Now I realize that another child played there before me. A child who died before I even knew she existed. Mom answers the door in her bathrobe. She looks surprised to see me standing on her porch. Iris, what are you doing here so early? I need to talk to you and Dad. Is he here? Yes, he's in the kitchen having coffee. Is everything okay? You look upset. I walk past her into the house. Everything looks the same as it always has. Family. Photos on the walls. The same old couch in the living room. But now I see what's missing from those photos. Rose. Dad is sitting at the kitchen table reading the newspaper. He looks up when I come in, and I see understanding in his eyes. He knows why I'm here. You read the letter, he says quietly. I read the letter. Mom looks confused. She ties her bathrobe tighter and sits down at the table. What letter? What's going on? Dad and I look at each other. I pull the letter out of my purse and set it on the table. David, Mom says, her voice sharp with warning. What did you do? I told her about Rose. The color drains from Mom's face. For a moment, nobody speaks. The kitchen clock ticks loudly on the wall. You promised we would never talk about her, Mom whispers. I know what I promised, but look what keeping that promise has cost us. Look what it's cost. Iris. Mom turns to me with tears starting in her eyes. Honey, you have to understand. We made that decision to protect you. To protect all of us from more pain. Protect me from what? From knowing I had a sister? From the grief. From the sadness. You were so young when you were born. We thought it would be easier if you never knew about Rose. Easier for who? It wasn't easier for me. I spent my whole life wondering why I wasn't good enough for you. Mom starts crying harder. We never meant for you to feel that way. We thought we were doing the right thing. But you weren't. And when I lost my baby, when I needed you most, you chose Sage's party over being with me. Do you know how that felt? We thought we could see you the next day, Dad says, but his voice sounds hollow. But you didn't come the next day either, because even then, Sage needed you more than I did. Mom looks at me with red, swollen eyes. We made mistakes, Iris. So many mistakes. But we do love you. We've always loved you. Have you? Because love isn't just a feeling, Mom. It's actions. It's being there when someone needs you. It's making them feel like they matter. Dad leans forward in his chair. You're right. We failed you as parents. We let our fear of losing. You make us lose you anyway. Tell me about Rose, I say. I want to know about my sister. Mom shakes her head quickly. I can't. It's too hard to talk about her. Mom, she was my sister. I have a right to know about… Dad clears his throat. She was born on March 15th, 1990. She weighed 6 pounds, 2 ounces. She had the most beautiful smile, even as a tiny baby. Mom looks at him like he's betraying some sacred promise by talking about Rose. She loved music, Dad continues. Your mother would sing lullabies to her, and Rose would stop crying and just listen. She was so alert, so aware of everything around her. What was her full name? Rose Elizabeth Martinez. Elizabeth was your grandmother's middle name. I think about this sister I never knew. Rose Elizabeth. She would have been my big sister. She would have taught me things, protected me, maybe even bossed me around the way big sisters do. Do you have pictures of her? Mom stands up suddenly, her chair scraping against the floor. I can't do this. I can't talk about her anymore. She rushes out of the kitchen. Dad and I sit in heavy silence for a moment. She's never gotten over losing Rose, he says. It broke something in her that never healed properly. And you? Did you ever get over it? No, but I learned to live with the pain. Your mother never did. She just buried it deeper and deeper. Why didn't you ever get help, like therapy or counseling? Dad sighs and rubs his forehead. Back in the early 90s, people didn't really do that. You were supposed to just be strong and move on. We didn't know how to process grief like that. But it affected everything. Your whole relationship with me. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Iris. Mom comes back into the kitchen carrying a small wooden box. Her hands are shaking as she sets it on the table. If you're going to know about Rose, you should see her, she says with a trembling voice. She opens the box carefully. Inside are photos of a beautiful baby girl. She does have my eyes, green and bright and full of life. There are hospital photos of Rose sleeping peacefully, photos of her with Mom and Dad, who look so young and happy and full of hope. Photos of her in tiny pink dresses and with stuffed animals. She's beautiful, I say, picking up one of the pictures. She was everything to us, Mom whispers. When we lost her, we lost part of ourselves too. I look through more photos. Rose smiling at the camera. Rose reaching for a toy. Rose being held by someone who must be a grandparent. I wish I could have known her. She would have been such a good big sister to you, Dad says. She would have loved you so much. Mom sits back down beside me. After Rose died, I was angry at everyone. Angry at God, angry at myself, angry at every parent who still had their baby. When I got pregnant with you, I was terrified the entire time. But I survived. You did more than survive. You were strong and healthy and perfect. But I was so scared of loving you completely that I held back. I thought if I didn't love you as much as I loved Rose, it wouldn't hurt as much if something happened to you. But something did happen to me. I lost my baby, and you weren't there. Mom breaks down completely. I know, and I hate myself for it. When you called from the hospital, all I could think about was losing Rose, about how it felt to get that terrible news. I couldn't face going through that pain again, even to help you. So you chose to protect yourself instead of helping me. Yes, and it was selfish and wrong, and I will regret it for the rest of my life. I look at both my parents. They look older than I remember, tired and broken and full of regret. I need you to understand something, I say carefully. What you did at the hospital didn't just hurt me in the moment. It showed me that I can't count on you when I need you most, and that's not something I can just forgive and forget. Dad nods slowly. We understand. I don't know if I can have the same relationship with you that I used to have. I don't know if I can trust you to be there for me. What can we do? Mom asks desperately. How can we fix this? I don't know if you can, but if you want to try, you need to start treating me like I matter. Not just when it's convenient, but all the time. You need to stop choosing Sage over me every single time there's a conflict. We will, Dad says firmly. We'll do better, I promise. And you need to get help, both of you. You've been carrying Rose's death for over 30 years without dealing with it properly. It's poisoned our whole family dynamic. Mom looks scared. I don't know if I can talk about Rose to a stranger. Then find a way to learn how. Because what you're doing now isn't working. It's hurting all of us, including Sage and Leo. I stand up to leave. The photos of Rose are still spread across the table. I need time to process all of this. Don't call me for a while. I'll call you when I'm ready to talk, again. Iris, wait, Mom says, gathering up 3 of the photos. Take these with you. She was your sister. You should have pictures of her. I take the photos. Looking at them, I feel a strange mix of sadness and connection. This little girl was part of my story, even though I never knew her. Thank you, I say. As I drive home, I think about everything that's changed in the last 24 hours. I have a sister named Rose who died before I was born. My parents. Fear of losing me made them emotionally abandon me my whole life. The favoritism I experienced wasn't about me not being good enough. It was about them being too damaged to love me fully. It's overwhelming. But for the first time in my life, I understand my family. I understand why I always felt like I was watching my life from the outside. The question now is, what do I do with this understanding? 3 weeks pass before I call my parents. I spend that time thinking, processing, and talking things through with Marcus and Jade. I also make an appointment with a therapist of my own. Dr. Chen is a grief counselor who works with families dealing with loss. Her office is warm and comfortable, with soft chairs and gentle lighting. In our first session, I tell her about the miscarriage, about my family not showing up, and about learning the truth about Rose. It sounds like your whole family has been living with unprocessed grief for over 30 years, she says. That kind of pain doesn't just disappear. It affects every relationship, every decision, every interaction. So what do I do now? How do I move forward with my family? That depends on what you want. Do you want a relationship with your parents? I think about this carefully. Despite everything that's happened, I do love them. And now that I understand why they acted the way they did, I feel less angry and more sad. Sad for Rose, sad for my parents, sad for the childhood I never had. I think I do want a relationship, but it has to be completely different. I can't keep being the forgotten daughter. Then you'll need to set clear boundaries. Be very specific about what you need from them. Over the next few weeks, I work with Dr. Chen on figuring out what those boundaries should be. I also start researching SIDS and infant loss support groups. I want to understand what my parents went through when they lost Rose. What I learn breaks my heart even more. In the early 1990s, when Rose died, there wasn't much support for parents who lost babies. People were told to move on quickly and try again soon. Many couples were actually advised never to talk about their lost children. My parents were following the terrible advice they were given at the time. They didn't know any better. I also learned that SIDS survivors, siblings of babies who died from SIDS, often grow up feeling like they're living in a shadow. They feel pressure to be perfect to make up for the child who was lost. They often struggle with feeling invisible or unimportant. That describes my entire childhood perfectly. When I finally call my mom, she sounds surprised and hopeful to hear from me. Iris, how are you doing, sweetheart? I'm okay. I've been seeing a therapist, working through everything that happened. That's good. That's really good to hear. Mom, I want to try to rebuild our relationship, but things have to change completely. Anything. I'll do anything you need me to do. First, you and Dad need to get counseling, together and separately. You need to deal with Rose's death properly, the way you should have 30 years ago. Okay, we'll find someone good. I promise. Second, the favoritism toward Sage has to stop completely. I know you love her, but you need to make room to love me equally. She's quiet for a moment. You're absolutely right. We've been so unfair to you for so long. And third, if I need you, you have to be there. Not when it's convenient for you, but when I actually need you. No more choosing other people over me. Of course. Iris, I'm so sorry about what happened at the hospital. I've thought about it every single day since then. I know you're sorry, but sorry isn't enough anymore. You have to do better. I will. We both will, I promise you. There's something else. I want to know more about Rose. I want you to tell me about her. Whenever I ask. She was my sister, and I deserve to know her. Mom starts crying softly. I don't know if I can talk about her easily. You have to try, Mom. Rose deserves to be remembered properly, and I deserve to know about the sister I never got to meet. Okay, I'll try. It's just so hard. I know it's hard, but keeping her a secret hasn't worked. It's hurt all of us. A few days later, Dad calls me at work. Your mother and I found a counselor who specializes in grief and family trauma. We start sessions next week. That's good, Dad. Iris, I want you to know that writing that letter was the hardest thing I've ever done, but also the most important thing. Why was it so important? Because I realized that by trying to protect you from pain, I caused you even more pain. I don't want to make that mistake ever again. Over the next few months, my relationship with my parents slowly begins to change. They start therapy, both together and individually. Mom begins talking about Rose more, sharing memories and stories. It's hard for her, but she pushes through. They also start making a real effort to include me more in family decisions. When they plan holiday dinners, they check with me first instead of just assuming I'll work around Sage's schedule. When I have a bad day at work, Mom calls to check on me instead of waiting for me to call her. It's not perfect. There are still moments when the old patterns try to come back, but they're really trying, and I can see the effort they're putting in. Sage is a different story. When she finds out about Rose, she's completely shocked. Why didn't anyone ever tell me I had another sister? Same reason they didn't tell me, I say. They thought it would be easier for everyone. This explains so much about how our family works, or doesn't work. Does it? Because you were still the favorite even after Rose died. Sage looks uncomfortable. I never asked to be the favorite child. No, but you never questioned it either. You never wondered why you got more attention, more support, more love from Mom and Dad. I thought that was just how families were supposed to work. Well, now you know better. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Sage struggles with this new information. She's used to being the center of attention, the one everyone revolves around. Learning that her special status came at my expense is hard for her to accept. I don't know how to change the way things are, she admits. This is the only family dynamic I've ever known. Then figure it out, because I'm not going to keep accepting leftover attention while you get everything. It takes time, but Sage starts making an effort too. She asks about my life instead of just talking about herself. When her daughter is born, a beautiful little girl she names Luna. She makes sure I'm included in all the important moments. The first time she asks me to babysit Luna, I almost start crying. She's trusting me with the most important thing in her life. "Are you sure you want me to watch her?" I ask. "You're her aunt," Sage says simply. "Of course I want you to be part of her life." As I hold Luna for the first time, I think about Rose. About the aunt I never got to be to Sage and Leo when they were babies. About the sister relationship I never had the chance to build. But I also think about the future. About being the kind of aunt to Luna that I always wanted to be. About breaking the cycle of favoritism and fear that has controlled our family for so long. 6 months after reading Dad's letter, Marcus and I decide to try for another baby. It's scary. The miscarriage taught us that nothing in life is guaranteed. But we're ready to hope again. This time, when I get pregnant, my family's reaction is completely different. Mom calls me crying happy tears. Dad sends beautiful flowers to our house. Even Sage offers to throw me a proper baby shower. "You don't have to do that for me," I tell her. "I want to. I owe you about 30 years worth of celebrations." When I'm 12 weeks pregnant, the same point where I lost the first baby, I'm terrified. But this time, when I go to my doctor's appointment, I'm not alone. Mom comes with me and holds my hand in the waiting room. She squeezes it tight when we hear the baby's heartbeat on the ultrasound machine. "Everything looks absolutely perfect," the doctor says with a smile. Mom and I both start crying happy tears. "This baby is going to be so loved," she whispers, to me. "All babies should be loved like that," I say, thinking of Rose. "You're right. They should be. And this one will be." That night, I sit in the nursery we're preparing for our new baby. I have Rose's photos sitting on the dresser, right next to the ultrasound pictures of our baby-to-be. "Hi, Rose," I say out loud to her picture. "I wish I could have known you. I wish things had been different for our whole family. But I want you to know that your little niece or nephew is going to know all about you. They're going to know they have a special aunt in heaven who would have loved them so much." I put my hand on my growing belly. This baby will grow up in a very different family than I did. A family that talks about hard things honestly. A family that doesn't let fear control love. A family that remembers the ones we've lost while celebrating the ones we have. It won't be perfect. No family ever is. But it will be honest and real and healing. And maybe that's enough to build something beautiful on. Our son is born on a sunny Tuesday morning in April. We name him Oliver Rose Martinez. Oliver for strength, and Rose for the sister I never knew but who shaped my entire life. When I hold Oliver for the first time, I think about all the babies who came before him. Rose, who lived for 6 precious months. My first baby, who I carried for 12 weeks but never got to meet. And now Oliver, healthy and perfect, and here. The whole family comes to meet him at the hospital. Mom can't stop crying happy tears. Dad takes what feels like a million pictures. Even Sage seems genuinely excited to meet her new nephew. "He's beautiful, Iris," she says, gently touching his tiny hand. Rose would have loved him so much. It's the first time Sage has mentioned Rose without being asked. Progress. But it's what happens later that night that changes everything one more time. After everyone leaves, Marcus and I are alone with Oliver in our hospital room. I'm nursing him when my phone buzzes with a text from a number I don't recognize. "Is this Iris Martinez? I got your number from your dad. We need to talk." Elena Rodriguez. I don't recognize the name, but something about the message makes my heart race. There's an urgency to it that scares me. I text back, "Who is this?" The response comes quickly. "I'm Rose's birth mother. Your dad gave me your number. I've been looking for you for years." I stare at the phone. Rose's birth mother? But Rose was my parents' biological daughter, wasn't she? I show Marcus the text. This doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's a mistake? Someone with the wrong number. But deep down, I know it's not a mistake. There's another secret, another piece of the puzzle that I don't have yet. I text Elena back. Can we talk on the phone? She calls me immediately. Iris, is this really you? Yes, but I'm confused. What do you mean you're Rose's birth mother? Elena is quiet for a moment. Your parents never told you Rose was adopted? The world spins around me. What? Oh, honey, they really didn't tell you anything, did they? I look down at Oliver sleeping in my arms. Another secret. After everything we've been through, after all the truth that came out, there's still another secret. Can you tell me the truth? All of it? Elena sighs deeply. I was 17 when I got pregnant with Rose. I couldn't keep her, so I chose your parents to adopt her. They were so excited, so ready to be parents. And then what happened? I stayed in touch for the first few months. They would send me pictures and updates. Rose was doing so well. She was happy and healthy and so loved. But then she died. Yes, your parents called me when it happened. Your mom could barely speak. Through her tears, she was completely broken. I'm trying to process this new information. Rose wasn't my biological sister. She was adopted. But she was still my sister in every way that mattered. Why are you calling me now? Because I've been following your family from a distance all these years. I knew when you were born, when you got married. I even knew about your miscarriage. How could you possibly know all that? Your dad and I have stayed in touch, not regularly, but occasionally. He would send me updates about you and Sage, pictures from graduations, weddings, important moments. This revelation hits me harder than everything else. My dad has been talking to you this whole time? Yes. And when he told me about the letter, he wrote you about you learning about Rose. I knew I had to reach out. Why? Because there's something else you need to know. Something even your parents don't know. I can barely breathe. What? After Rose died, I was devastated. I felt like I had failed her somehow, failed your parents. I got pregnant again 2 years later, and this time I decided to keep the baby. Okay. Iris, I had another daughter. Her name is Carmen. She's 2 years younger than you. My head is spinning completely now. What are you saying? I'm saying you have another sister, a half-sister. Carmen is Rose's biological sister, which makes her your sister too, in a way. Can't speak. I have a half-sister I've never met, a sister who shares DNA with Rose. Where is she now? She lives about an hour from you in Riverside. She's a nurse at the children's hospital there. She's married, has 2 kids of her own. And Iris, she looks just like Rose did. Just like you do. Does she know about Rose? Yes. I told her about Rose when she was old enough to understand. I told her about your family. 2. She's always wondered about you. She knows about me? She knows she has sisters she's never met. She knows about Rose, about you and Sage. She's been curious about you her whole life. After I hang up with Elena, I sit in the dark hospital room holding Oliver. Marcus is asleep in the chair beside my bed, but I can't even think about sleeping. I have another sister, Carmen. She's out there, living her life just an hour away from me, wondering about the family she's never met. I think about Rose, about how her short life and death sent ripples through so many lives. If she hadn't died, would my parents have been different? Would they have been able to love me fully? Would Elena have kept Carmen, or would she have placed her for adoption too? So many what ifs. So many paths not taken. But here's what I know for sure. Rose's life mattered. Even though she only lived for 6 months, she changed everything. She brought joy to my parents for a little while. She gave Elena the experience of being a birth mother. And in a strange way, she led me to understand why my childhood was the way it was. The next morning, I called Dad from my hospital room. Elena called me last night. There's a long pause. I figured she would eventually. Dad, how many more secrets are there? How many more things haven't you told me? That's the last one, Iris. I promise you that's everything. Rose was adopted. Yes. And I have a half-sister named Carmen. Yes. Were you ever going to tell me about any of this? I don't know. Elena and I agreed years ago that it was her choice whether to reach out to you. I couldn't make that decision for her. But you could have told me Rose was adopted. We should have. But after she died, it felt like it didn't matter anymore. Biology or not, she was our daughter. She was your sister. He's right about that. Rose was their daughter and my sister. Adoption doesn't change love. I want to meet Carmen. Elena, thought you might say that. She gave me Carmen's number if you want it. That afternoon, I call Carmen from my hospital bed. She answers on the second ring. Is this Iris? Yes. Oh my God, I can't believe you're actually calling. I've wondered about you my whole life. Her voice sounds familiar somehow, even though I've never heard it before. Maybe it reminds me of Rose in some way. Elena told me about you, about Rose, about everything. I'm so sorry for your loss, Iris. I know Rose died before you were born, but losing a sister is hard no matter when. It happens. Thank you. Carmen, would you like to meet sometime? I mean, if you're comfortable with that. I would love that more than anything. I've always wanted to meet my sisters. We make plans to meet the following weekend at a coffee shop halfway between our towns. As I hang up the phone, I realize that my family is about to get bigger again. Not smaller because of secrets and fear, but bigger because of truth and love. Oliver stirs in his little hospital bed. I pick him up and hold him close. You're going to have so many people who love you, I whisper to him. Grandparents who are learning how to love better. Aunts who will spoil you rotten. And maybe even an aunt you haven't met yet who's been waiting her whole life to be part of this family. This isn't how I thought my story would end when I sat in that cold hospital room losing my first baby. I thought it would be about choosing between my family and my peace of mind. Instead, it's about expanding what family means. It's about choosing healing over hurt. It's about making room for everyone, the living and the dead, the known and the newly discovered. Rose is still part of our story. She always will be. But now her story includes more than just loss and grief. It includes connection, understanding, and the possibility of new relationships built on truth instead of secrets. Sometimes the best endings aren't really endings at all. They're new beginnings. And as I hold my son and think about meeting Carmen next week, I know that's exactly what this is. A new beginning for all of us. That's Iris's story. A journey from heartbreak to healing, from secrets to truth, and from a broken family to a bigger one built on love instead of fear. Sometimes the worst moments in our lives lead us to the most beautiful discoveries about who we really are and who truly loves us. I'd love to know where you're listening from today. Drop a comment and tell me your city or country. It always amazes me how these stories of healing and hope reach people all around the world. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button to help spread kindness to others who might need to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We share new stories of hope, healing, and human connection every week. Your support helps us reach more people who need to know they're not alone in their struggles. There's another powerful story waiting for you right now. Click on the video appearing on your screen. It's about finding strength you never knew you had. Thank you for listening, and remember, you are worthy of love, exactly as you are.